everyone, I am Kalyani Jha and I am going to teach you some questions which are frequently asked in GATE examinations, in JEE examinations. So these questions are really very important. So these questions are from different branches of chemistry. There are four major branches of chemistry, as you can see here. The physical chemistry, physical chemistry. In this branch, we have to study the thermodynamics, electrochemistry, and all the physical properties of the chemicals like melting point, boiling point, etc. Another branch is organic chemistry. So another branch is organic chemistry. In this branch, we have to study the hydrocarbons or the compounds which are made up of hydrogen and carbon. And these chemicals are generally present in the animal body, plant body, or bioorganisms. So the another one is inorganic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry. In this branch, we have to discuss about the elements which are present in the periodic table, their characteristics, atomic numbers, and their periodic functions. So what are the periodic functions like electronegativity or some other functions which are related to the chemicals. So for example, the electronegativity series, or you can say the atomic number, increasing size, increasing the number of electrons. So all these trends we have to discuss in this inorganic chemistry. The another branch is analytical chemistry, and in that branch, this is analytical chemistry. In this branch, we have to discuss about the concentrations of the solution and their terminologies. For example, molarity, normality. So what they are, we going to study one by one. If there is comes into the question. So the first question here I will discuss is which of the following statement is incorrect. So you can see here there are four statements given, from which we have to select the incorrect one. The first statement I have written here is disproportionation reaction takes place for hydrolysis of HCF4. So we have to understand one by one what are the terminologies given in this statement. So first of all, disproportionation reaction. So what is the meaning of disproportionation reaction? So there are two types of reaction. One is disproportionation and another one is redox. So the two terminologies we have to discuss here. First is oxidation and another one is reduction. So if there is oxidation reaction, so in which the addition of oxygen takes place or loss of electron takes place. Either addition of oxygen, loss of hydrogen, or loss of electron. So these are related with the oxidation. Another one, in case of reduction, there is gain of electron. Gain of electron. So we know there are lots of elements present in the periodic table, and in these elements we have to study the atomic number. Or mass number. In atomic number, in which form we have to study the atomic number? In the form of electrons or in the form of protons. So number of electrons or number of protons. So if any compound is undergoes the reaction in which oxidation and reduction takes place, so simultaneously, then there are two types of reaction. If these are taking place in the reaction simultaneously, for example, X plus Y gives Z. So in this reaction, if X undergo oxidation and Y undergo reduction, so oxidation occur in X and reduction occur in Y, and together this reaction is called as redox reaction. But in some reaction, the oxidation and reduction taking place with same element. So in maybe X undergoes Y. So here the oxidation also taking place with X and reduction also taking place with X. So for that we have to use the hydrolysis. So what is the meaning of hydrolysis here? So hydrolysis is breakdown of any compound or chemical in the presence of water. So breakdown of any compound or chemical in the presence of water. So here we have given XeF4. So Xe stands for xenon, and F4 stand for tetrafluoride. Tetrafluoride. So this is the xenon tetrafluoride, and we have to do the hydrolysis of xenon tetrafluoride. So for hydrolysis we require water. Okay. So hydrolysis means breakdown in the presence of water. So the compounds formed here are XeO3, okay, and plus Xe. So we do not undergo in the detail of the balance reaction or balance chemical equation. We just have to see whether this reaction is disproportionation or not, because we have to find out this statement is incorrect or correct. So in this case, first of all, we have to calculate the oxidation number of xenon here. So for one fluorine there is -1. For one fluorine there is -1. So here are 4 fluorines. So for 4 fluorine we have the oxidation number -4. So if we consider here the X, then the oxidation number for xenon is +4, because oxidation number in compound should be balanced. Therefore this is the stable compound. Okay. So now +4 and -4. So in product, these are the reactants. These are the reactants, and these are the products. So in case of product, you have to see that whether the oxidation number of xenon is changes to either gain of electron or to loss of electron. So in case of xenon, here you can say oxygen have -2 oxidation number. So here are 3 oxygens, but you can consider only -2 for oxygen. Therefore the xenon's oxidation number is +2. Okay. And here the xenon's oxidation number is 0. In any natural state, the element's oxidation number is 0. So as you can see here, from +4 to +2. So in XeO3, what you have noticed? You have noticed that the gain of electrons occur, because addition of 2 electron makes +4 to +2. So gain of electron is reduction. Okay. And in case of xenon, you can see here the +4 to 0. Okay. So +4 to 0. So what will happen here? So +4 to 0. So here you can say the addition of electron. Okay, addition of electron, and that's why here also the reduction occurs. Okay, so the oxidation state of +4, the xenon is +4. Okay, so for this we have to say that this reaction is disproportionation reaction, because here the oxidation is occur. Here the oxidation is occur. Okay, because from 0 to there is +4. So this is the loss of electron. Okay, so this is the oxidation. So in reduction there is gain of electron, in oxidation there is loss of electron. So as you can see here, this reaction is disproportionation reaction. So this statement is correct. So we have to go towards the next statement. Let us see the next statement. What is the next statement? The next statement is, in the hydrolysis of PCl3, tautomers of POH3 are formed. Hydrolysis of PCl3, tautomers of POH3 form. Okay. So as you can see here, the PCl3, as we know, hydrolysis is breakdown of this chemical in the presence of water, H2O. So oxygen having lone pair, okay, so it will attack on the phosphorus if one chlorine is leave from this phosphorus. So first of all, for the hydrolysis procedure or hydrolysis reaction, the most important thing is you have in chemical there is requirement of vacant orbital. Okay, so vacant d orbital is very much important, because if oxygen's lone pair is transferred to that particular element, there should be must present the vacant d orbital. Okay, so in this reaction the first product form is POH thrice. The structure of this is, so this is called as phosphorus acid. Okay, this is called as phosphorus acid. When it undergoes tautomerization, tautomerization means, for example, if there is presence of alcohol, then it undergo into tautomerization to form ketone. Okay, so this hydrogen is removed. Okay, and this hydrogen is removed, and here oxygen's double bond is formed. So the structure is like this, OH and OH. Okay, but if this structure you have to see, in this structure phosphorus forms 3 bonds. So this is trivalent. The valency of phosphorus is 3 here, but here you can say 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bonds are present, and in phosphorus the valency 4 is not acceptable. So for that we have to make it pentavalent. So H is added here. So this is called phosphoric acid. This is called phosphoric acid. So in this case you can see here this is pentavalent. Pentavalent. So this statement is correct. In the case of hydrolysis of PCl3, the tautomers of POH3 is formed. Okay. So another statement given. We have to move toward the another statement. The another statement is, in the hydrolysis of NCl3, HOCl is not formed. In the hydrolysis of NCl3, HOCl is not formed. But in actual reaction, there is formation of HOCl. In actual reaction, there is formation of HOCl. So that's why this statement is incorrect. So our incorrect statement is, in hydrolysis of NCl3, HOCl is not formed. But the next statement we have to check for the concept purpose. So we know this is the incorrect statement. You have to study these reactions for the solving this type of questions. You know what are the hydrolysis reactions of different elements, and this topic is comes under the P block elements. Okay, so the CH4 is inert towards hydrolysis. CH4 is inert toward hydrolysis. So as you know, the structure of CH4 is, okay, so this is the structure of CH4. The carbon contains 6 electrons and only contain p orbitals. Only contain p orbitals. So this carbon does not contain d orbital, because for the d orbital there is requirement of more number of electrons. As you can say, d block elements are starting from scandium, which have atomic number 21, means it contains 21 electrons. And you can see here only 6 electrons are present in the carbon atom. So that's why it does not contain the d orbital. So that's why if water molecule comes to break down the CH4, then the lone pair of oxygen cannot donate it to the carbon, because it does not have vacant d orbital. So that is why CH4 is inert. Inert means non-reactive towards the hydrolysis. Okay, so we have got our incorrect statement, and which was that the NCl3 does not form the product HOCl, but actually it formed the product HOCl in the reactions. Okay.